see if we are live. We are live. There we go. I am here. What's up, everyone? Welcome to your lunch break with John. That's me. Hope you got your lunch out. Hope you're ready to enjoy a little bit of philosophy talk. Um, Yesterday we did the philosophy of the Jedi, and today we're going to do the opposite, the philosophy of the Sith. Before I do that, just want to do a couple of announcements. Let's see, what do we got? I'm here Monday through Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern to do your lunch break with John. So make sure you schedule your lunch around that if that's possible. And then, let's see, tomorrow we've got our Shooting the Shit episode tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Yeah, 9:30 p.m. Of course, Eastern time, the only true time zone. And Thursday night, I believe 8 p.m. Eastern time, of course, we'll be doing a movie night with you guys. So if you're interested in joining that, let me know, and I can send you the link to the Zoom meeting. I believe we're doing it through Zoom, but we will not be streaming it, so you don't have to worry about being on stream or on camera or anything stupid like that. Just come and hang out with us. That's all we're gonna do. Just hang out and watch. I believe we're watching Christmas Vacation, the National Lampoons, which is fucking fantastic. So yeah, make sure you come and join us for that. And yeah, that's about it for now. So let's get into the topic, the philosophy of the Sith. So yesterday we went through the Jedi Code and we talked about it, line for line. So I'm going to do that with the Sith Code now. It starts out, and it starts out as a direct refutation to the Jedi Code. It is a response to the Jedi Code. And the fact that the very first line here says, "Peace is a lie. There is only passion." And then, "Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me." Um, so the first line there, "Peace is a lie. There is only passion." Um, I think what they're trying to refer to here is that your passions guide you better than trying to suppress them, trying to suppress the passion. Same with emotion. Um, it, that goes into the next line. "Through passion, I gain strength." Right. So passion being the motivation. Right. You're passionate about something, and that motivates you to get better at that thing. Which I can actually attest to in my personal life just now. Before I started this stream, I recently bought an archery target, so I've been, I was doing a couple of sets outside, and something I'm passionate about, and I'm motivated to get better at it, and I am. I hit the target most of the time. Got to work on my grouping, but hey, I was hitting the target. Uh, So I think that's what it means. Like through the passion, you gain strength, not necessarily physical strength, but like personal strength, inner strength as well. Through strength, I gain power. Is the next line, um, and power doesn't necessarily have to mean like power over others. It can mean power over yourself, self control, self discipline. Through the gaining of that inner strength, you're able to gain power over yourself and maybe some of the uh, lesser attributes that the attributes that you don't like about yourself, basically. And through power, I gain victory is the next line. And of course, once you've mastered yourself, you gain victory. It doesn't have to be again like a physical victory or like a military victory. Just victory as in accomplishing your goals is where that's going. Um, so basically, yeah, the next line is "Through victory, my chains are broken." Obviously, again, not referring to physical chains, but like the limitations that you set on yourself due to your own either lack of confidence or lack of motivation to achieve your goals. You've through that victory over yourself, you've gained your chains are broken, as in you stop limiting yourself. Um, the Sith philosophy is very individualistic. Um, it's very much about cultivating the self over anything else. Now, obviously, in Star Wars, you see like the Sith will always be trying to take over the galaxy and oppressing people and just trying to have general as much power, like actual power, as they can. But of course, you only see those Sith who choose to do that, and not the Sith who don't, who choose to uh, just better themselves and seek knowledge or secrets or whatever like that. But it makes sense though. When you're telling a story, you have to have an antagonist. You have to have the evil to be defeated. But that's not necessarily the case, right? That they're always trying to gain power over others. A lot of the time, it is over themselves. They're gaining power over themselves. Um, so very individualistic, as I said, and it's also about tapping into the primal parts of you without letting them overtake you, without letting them control you. That's part of the gaining power, gaining strength, is that you're able to tap into that wildness that's in every person and use it to your advantage. You see this a lot actually with MMA fighters, boxers, any kind of, even like football or any kind of physical sport, right? It takes a certain amount of that primal instinct and just that that general, I'm going to come at you no matter what, in order to be successful in those sports. And so that's kind of another thing that they're saying, tapping into that without letting it control you, because you notice as soon as the fight is over or the play is over, if you're talking about football, they go back to just being a normal person, right? They didn't just succumb to that primal urge, but they tapped into it and used it to achieve whatever goal that they're trying to accomplish. So that's basically how the Sith operate as well. Uh, let's see what if anyone's saying anything in the chat. Jagger says, "What is the philosophy of midichlorians?" Uh, the philosophy of midichlorians is basically a MacGuffin in a way. I don't know if that's even the right word for it. It's just lazy writing. It's really what it is. Midichlorians are just lazy writing. That's about it. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess you have to try and find a way to measure how powerful someone is with the Force, but I just don't know that microorganisms is the way to go about it. Right? Because, I mean, there's people who are clearly stronger in the Force than others in Star Wars, but I just don't think metachlorians was the way to go. Just don't think it was. So back to the Sith philosophy. Um, another thing that I find really interesting about it is the rule of two, and that started with, I believe, Darth Bane, I believe was his name, and the idea behind it was, okay. This is the best way to explain it. Is if you take a poison and you pour it into several different cups, right? It gets weaker and diluted. Whereas if you take all those cups and pour it into one big one, it's much more potent and stronger. Um, and that's kind of the idea of that the dark side energy, dark side force, being all put into one person makes that one person much more powerful, which is why Sith are typically, like, one Sith is typically more powerful than one Jedi. Typically, of course, because they've got more access. I guess I don't know exactly if that's how the Force works. Like, the more of you there are, the weaker each individual becomes. I guess it seems that way, especially if you take the new trilogy into account, where Rey is like super awesome, mega powerful, Mary Sue style. But that's because she's really the only Jedi left, right? So she's got all the whatever light side force energy. I mean, I guess you could explain it that way, but it seems kind of shitty, you know. I'm not really a big fan of that. But that's the idea behind the rule of two is just having two Sith at a time. One being the master, one being the apprentice. And so the the apprentice though is different than Jedi and their apprentice, where they kind of guide them and teach them everything they know, and help them along the way. Whereas with the Sith, the apprentice has to fight and struggle to achieve any kind of wisdom or power. Everything has to be earned that they have, and then and this is actually part of their culture, that the apprentice is meant to kill the master, because if the master's weak at all, that makes the Sith overall weak. And so if the apprentice can kill the master, then that means that the master was weakening, and it was time for him to go and be replaced. And then the apprentice becomes master and takes on his own apprentice. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But the idea behind that, the rule of two exists to achieve what was called the Sithari, which the Sith were originally their own species. It was actually a species of alien that eventually got bred out of existence. They got bred out of to extinction, basically. So that it was basically human and Sith hybrids. Um, but their religion stated that there would one day be something called the Sithari, which is like the perfection, the pinnacle of strength and power. Uh, and that's what the Sith are seeking to accomplish with the rule of two, is that each successive generation gets stronger and stronger until eventually one of them becomes the Sithari and is the basically the pinnacle of all power ever, could never be topped. Um, and it does seem like they get there, pretty close to it at least, because there are a lot of a lot of Sith lords out there who are extremely powerful, ridiculously so, including probably my favorite, Darth Nihilus, who's able to, or Nihilus, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, he's able to basically just drain the Force from people to kill them, meanwhile making himself stronger. And he got to the point where he could do that to an entire planet from orbit. It's pretty fucking impressive if you ask me. But obviously not that I condone planet killing. All right, guys, calm down. But still, it's pretty freaking awesome. Um, so yeah, that's basically the philosophy of the Sith. I'm not sure there's much more to go into, so let's turn it back over to the chat. J. Edgar's still there. He says there is no new trilogy. It doesn't exist. Correct. That is the correct statement to make, for sure. New trilogy does not exist. Although Rogue One is pretty good. I like Rogue One. I didn't like any of the other movies, though. Rogue One and The Mandalorian are really about all that Disney's done right with the Star Wars brand so far. And then of course, what they announced, like 10 new shows or something. I think they're gonna spread themselves thin, and I think that the writing's gonna suffer, the budget's gonna suffer. I don't know that it's gonna be any good. The new 10 shows or whatever the fuck coming out, it's gonna be kind of ridiculous. But anyway, unless you guys got something else, I think I'm gonna end it a little early. I don't like ending it this early, but I pretty much got nothing else. I think that was a pretty concise explanation of the Sith philosophy. But tomorrow, we'll be doing the philosophy of the Mandalorians, philosophy and history, I guess, of the Mandalorians, because I want to talk about that because they are fucking cool. They're awesome. So I definitely want to do that, especially because a lot of people don't really get it. They watch the Mandalorian show and they're like, "Oh, they're all like that." No, no, they're not. But alright, I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, movie night, Thursday night. Just hit me up for the link, and you'll get it. I'll put it in the I'll put it in the Discord in the announcements. So if you're not in our Discord, go ahead and join it. Links are down below. Seawall shows up. What's up, Seawall? He says, "You mean the prequels, Jay? Those are the newest movies I'm aware of." Yes, of course. Other than Rogue One, Rogue One was good. I maintain that Rogue One was good. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow.